What's up, guys? So we got about 2 minutes before that Tokyo market opens. So hopefully, once the Tokyo market opens, we'll get a little bit of volume thrown into the market. All right, I think I have everything set up. Oh, just a few more things here. Still got about 2 minutes left. Hopefully everybody had an okay trading day. Today was probably one of my better trading days. I'm not gonna lie, probably one of the better trading days I've had in a while, as far as overall funded accounts go. Kind of torn. I'm really not sure which way we're going to be going because we have a really nice 5 minute trend line going off here. I mean, I'm kind of short biased. I feel like we would want to run all this trend line liquidity, but man, back up buff out this side of this PM session, we will, like I pushed in our little retest, and hopefully try to get long. And that's if we can print and find support above 37. Pretty much we have had no movement since 5 o'clock. So I want to say right now we're stuck in a less than a 30 point range. Kind of similar to what last night got you. You know, super tight little triangle range right here. Little reverse alligator here. Sorry if I have to look like I'm looking around. It's because I have to look around the corner to see my camera. Because my camera is kind of at the edge of my screen, so I can't see my little tabs. All right, get the rest of my stuff set up here. Last night was like this too, guys. It seemed like it took till what, almost 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock before we got some kind of movement. It was a slow night last night. Just give me a minute. I was trying to find something to listen to here. Like I said, today was probably one of my best trading days as far as my funded. See, we made, I want to say, close to $500 between across four fundeds. So we copy traded three funded accounts where we made about 90 to $100 a piece, and then we had one account that we made 200 on. So it was a pretty good trading day. What's up, Christian? How are you doing tonight? It could just be a slow grinding, coffee drinking, talking about charts tonight. Whew. So far, the new year has not gave us great price action in the Tokyo session or the Asia market. So the plan here is we got this really nice 5-minute trend line break here. If we break out to the downside, and the upside is to day's high. So if we can get above 37, find support above 37, we will look for a long. So those will be kind of the two setups that we're looking for. So we just got to be patient and wait. I was hoping that the volume would be a little bit better once the Tokyo opens, but it's like it got slower. Find some music to listen to. How was your day, Christian? Did you finish green? Did you put the charts away during the lunch hour? And 7 hours, 15 minutes. Like I said, right now the market's moving in this really tight wedge. So we're just going to have to wait till we kind of get out of this wedge. And what you have to look out for is the fake out. Sometimes you'll get like a fake out to one side or the other on this wedge. Then the other side will actually be the move and it'll just completely dump off. So just going to have to be careful here. Remember, we don't want to lose our accounts, or we don't want to get super negative in the Asia market because it's really hard to get your profit back in the Asia market. So we usually only trade 2 micros, 3 max, looking for either 10 to 20 points, or if we can maybe feel like we can get a runner, we'll try to get a runner. But I would definitely kind of like to get a runner if we can get above the 37 here and find support. Yeah, it is the daily high at that 37 level. So a lot of times, I'll give you kind of some examples here since there's not really a lot for us to do but sit here and watch the charts grind. So this will be your PM session. This is where the 37, 38 level comes from. So basically what we're waiting on is if we break the 37, you kind of want to get out of the PM session, where most of the times if you can get out of the PM session, you'll start moving up here. This one's probably not as great. Most of the time you're lucky to get one a week, maybe twice a week. This was, I think, the last one that we took, and this was last Tuesday. This was a really nice one here. See how we broke the PM low, pushed out, found resistance. We got some nice trades out of this move down here, but this one happened quite early. You might get this once or twice a week. It's usually about the most setup you can get. What's up, World Free? Unfortunately, it just kind of chopped around all the way until the, what do you want to call it? All the way up until London session last night. I think finally around the London, like going into the London session, we finally started getting some nice moves. And that 38 is also the yesterday's high. This way, not really a big fan of these. I don't think that was a level. I don't think that was a level or anything. Let's see. We may also have 16. I think that's on the 3 minute though. Let me see where it's on the 5 minute. The 5 minutes a little bit lower. 5 minutes all the way down at 808. If we're playing off the what's that, 8:15. We can mark it out though, just in case. Like I said, guys, there's really not anything to do here but just kind of be patient and wait. Until we either break to the downside or upside, we just pretty much just kind of have to sit here and ride it out. I actually lost like $40. I was up about $60 or $70 on my eval earlier. I think we got 2 contracts sold off and we had a runner left. And so we were up about $60. Then this candle printed above not this 38 level earlier. And so I thought, well, maybe we'll stay above it. And I got long, but instead I got stopped out for 10 points. We had some nice trades on these accounts too, as far as evals to go today. I think we gave up a little bit today because we were over $900 on this account before it basically just had pullback, and so it kind of pushed us back up under the 900 again. But we had some nice trades later this morning after we were done trading fundeds. Actually, we shorted the previous day close. And, we talked about that a little bit too. And I can go back and show you that on TradingView also. If you're looking for a setup like that happens maybe once or twice a week. I don't really know how often that one happens just because you have to run the high. So let me get that pulled up real quick and I can give you an example. Since we're not really doing anything. All right, so this was the one that we did this morning. So what you want to do is wait. Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I'm looking for too. Trade Z is like, man, there's a lot of 5 minute resistance to the downside. So anyway, on this red line that's on my chart, this is the previous day high. So I got the previous highs and days marked out on my charts with the red and green lines. But anyway, you basically just wait for us to push above the previous day high. Then when it comes back below the previous day high, because it seemed like it does that, goes up, comes back below it. And I think I got short around the 700s, somewhere like that this day. And it went down 60 points. So, I mean, it was a nice 50, 60 point short. And there's some that'll do that on the low side too, like if it runs the Asia low. But here's another one. Now I noticed you don't want to see it just consolidate above it. You want to see it like actually push up at least 700. I mean, hell, that was almost 100 points up off of the previous day high. But look what happens when it came back through it. It was a massive sell-off. Now, I'm not sure how many times you get that a week, though. So here's another one through the bottom of the daily low. So this would have been the low from the daily. Let me calculate my charts real quick. Okay, so we're still stuck in that wedge. So this one was from the low. How far did we push up? 74. Still about 50-point push up there. I mean, it doesn't get any just mechanical than that. Like I said, I just don't know how often it happens. And today was the first time I've ever even considered taking that type of trade. So, that's where we got the profit on our evals today. Now I have a totally different type setup that I take on my fundeds. So here's my funded trade this morning. It was a perfect, nice setup this morning for the funded. Sorry if I keep moving. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't. So this was the funded this morning. So this is your low. And this was the high from it. And it was super, super pretty fast. So we had a low, we had a high. This next candle pulled back. We have this section marked out because this is our first 15-minute, or the 8 o'clock to 8:15-minute candle. We pulled back to really 50% of that candle, as you can see this wick here. And we got long here around 30. Like I said, we only made around about $100 out of this thing, and man, this thing went up 160 points. But you don't know how often you're going to get that many points up. So that's just kind of hindsight and hit and miss if you're going to get that many points. But it was still a nice setup, and that's what we look for in the mornings. That's like my favorite, like A plus setup. And you want to pull your fib. You also want to make sure that you're pulling back 70 to 80% of the previous leg into the 15-minute gap. And that's what happened. So if I had my ninja charts up, it's easier to see because I usually have a opening range little box that goes around my 15-minute candle, but it's on the 5-minute candle. So usually you'll see like 3 little candles kind of stacked in there. So then you wait for that wick to pull back in there off of the fib. So I always pull fib on my entries. So either I'm trying to get long around the 50%, then take this back up into discount. And so that's how I'll try to like determine how many points we're trying to get. Or the better of it, if you can just find yourself to get closer down to the 76%, because technically, that's supposed to be your stop loss, the 87. So that's the only downfall about getting probably long at the 50% of this leg is your stop loss has to be down here. Because this is still a valid trade, even if it pushed back down and hit the 86, as long as it never breaks this low, it's still a valid trade. Shoot. We might have missed it. Come on. I just don't know if this is going to be a manipulation type thing where you think that we're going to get the break to the downside and that damn thing rips right back up here. We'll see what happens here. We got 2 minutes left before the new candle. So if that new 5-minute candle prints and we can get like a 20 to 40% pullback, we may consider short here if we get below the 14. Look for 10 points. Let's see, where am I at here? The 3-minute just printed, so it looks like the 3-minute may get below there. What's up, Alan? It says, I'm seeing your screen is what looks like on a iPhone format. Is that an issue on your end or what? I'm not sure what you're asking. It says, I'm seeing your screen, what it looks like on an iPhone format. Yeah, I am streaming in a vertical session, Alan. If you want the horizontal, there's another horizontal stream on that. Yeah, it works for Apex. The last night are their 90%. I was hoping they were going to extend it till Sunday, but I guess that was just their activation fee. I know I got to pick up one or two myself. I I want to try to get at least one more funded account with them, and then that way it'll give me 5 funded. Yeah, there's two different formats. I in the description I have which one is which. I want to say it's $60 is their activation fee. Trading $60. I think they're like $84 all in right now. We just broke that too. Now this is only 2 micros. Really did not get the pullback we wanted. So I'm hoping if we get a pullback, we may add to this. Let me see. Damn thing keeps freezing up. Sorry. The low on the short on the 5 minutes not till like below the 94 level. The 3 minutes still do not get below that trend line break. Oh wait, that's the freaking ES. That's what's going on. I was like, why am I? Yeah, the 3 minutes still was kind of hovering around that one level where I'm at, the 13, 14. Because I was going to use 15 as kind of my line in the sand. Dude, did my charts just freeze? Oh. All right. We'll pull fib on this. You really don't want to see us back above the 50% of this leg. All right, let me close this stuff out. I got so much stuff open that I just got stuff like all over the place. So for anybody that trades the Tokyo session, every single trade takes forever, guys. You can be sitting here for like 30 minutes waiting to go 10 points. And plus, we're kind of pushing around that whole number. That's even worse. I was hoping the 3-minute would print below that 15 level. The 3-minute did not print below it, so that means that this thing could push back up into the 50%, like push back up that leg there. We need to get a candle that'll print below the 15. So this may be the next candle here. If this candle can push below the 15 on the 3-minute and print below, let's say the 15, we should start getting a push because we're way up here in discount. If you pull the Fibonacci on this whole leg, I mean, we're way in the discount. So we're determined for a nice little pullback here. But it looks like the 15 minutes, not the 15 minutes, but the 3 minutes is trying to push back up. If we take a loss here, we'll just have to put this account away and just trade the other one because we try to just stick to one loss. We're not really down a lot on this trade. I mean, we're only down, what, $24? Well, no, we're down $24, but we were up 30. So actually, we're down 13 right now on this account. So I think we're risking, what, 15 points? Not quite $80, probably 60 or 70 bucks if we take the loss. You really don't want to see us back above this level here. You don't really want to see us push more over 50% of a pullback, because if it does, more likely it's just going to continue higher to go back up this way. That's usually what happens. This is kind of what I was saying, that this possibly could happen on this wedge play. So a lot of times on these wedge, you'll get like this really deep pullback outside one side, and it'll be like a fake out trade, and it's the other side that'll end up taking the win. Hopefully it's not the case, but I've seen that happen quite a bit. So we hit, as you can see, we hit 50% right on the T there. So we got the 50% marked out. As long as that 50% holds, I think we should be good. And maybe we can kind of get a run down there to the 800s here. So it did give us another opportunity to get out of the trade if you are uncomfortable with it. So we're pretty much back to where entry was, except for about a few points. It doesn't really bother me holding evals, guys. So as right now, I'm only trading evals. What's up, Outer? I'm sorry. Wait, what are you saying about the desktop? Oh, you cannot see the chat. We do not see a chart. Oh, well. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. That shows you. You don't tell how long it's been like that, man. I don't even look at my stuff once I'm start streaming. I guess I forgot to make sure it was set up correctly when we were starting out. Thanks, Outer. Back to normal. Thanks. Last night was a pretty rough night in the Asian market for me, Outer. It was pretty much just a break even type night. I'm hoping tonight we get some nice movement where we can just sell off. I hope we can run this whole like 5-minute trend line to the downside. Let's see. See, I hate that we have a lower low, whatever there, because that means that, man, we could easily push back up here. Let's see what the 5-minute looks like. Yeah, 5 minutes got a low too. Ugh. Pull down 50%. Yeah, we pretty much have been just kind of stuck in this range for a while. Guys, if you're just joining us, like I said, this is a eval only trading during the PM session. Most of our funded trades are taken in the New York session early morning. Outer, I think I had my best funded trade today, man. I think I had like almost a little over $500 in funded trades today. Man, we killed it in the funded trades today because we copy traded 3 accounts, and plus we got this one like nice little 200-point win or $200 win with one funded account. Ooh, coffee's already getting cold. Did you trade last night, Outer? This is kind of what it was like last night, man. It was such a grind last night that I think you were here. It was such a grind last night. It was rough. So what we'll do, let's just say we lose this trade here. It ends up being a loss. So what we'll do is we'll put the account away. We have a couple Pidea. We're trading 2 different Pideas accounts. So one has $500 in profit in it, and the other has 868. So if we take a loss on the one, the next trade we'll switch over to this one because we try to keep our losses as small as I can on these accounts because these are static accounts. So I start out with a $500 drawdown, and the more money I make, the bigger my drawdown gets. So right now we got add $500 to this, almost a $1,300 in drawdown on this account for me to blow this account. And these accounts don't have renewals, so I can take as long as I need to pass them. That's one thing I like about these Pideas accounts. I can just pay. I paid that $8 once, and it can take as long as I need. I just know what I know, my friend. How was your trading day today, Outer? Did you have any setups? Oh, you won just one. Nice. Yeah, welfare. How's everybody else's trading today? Was most of you guys green? I'm not sure what mostly everybody here trades. I know everybody trades a little different as far as setup goes. Outer, the one guy that I was asking, he does I know he does like similar to like ICT setups. Or he does ITC setups. So you kind of want to see 50% of this whole leg adding, and that'll kind of keep us in that lower high with the move back up to the upside. Trade the options. Yeah, see, I don't know too much about the options, but I hear a lot of people trades the options, but I've never traded any options. I don't even know the first thing about it. I've traded very little options before. I think I did like a couple on Robinhood, but I knew very little about what I was doing. And that's been a couple years. I think the only thing I was doing, I was selling the calls. Like I was just making money off the premiums. I wasn't like I would just buy the 100 shares, then put the 100 shares up and just collect the premiums. That's probably about the only thing I've ever did with the options. Mm. Do most of you guys here only trade the Asia market, or do you guys trade like both times, like day and night? Yeah, I would just jump into paper trading as soon as you can. I mean, the more time you have on pushing the button, the easier it gets. It definitely takes a while to get comfortable. It usually takes people a couple years to start getting comfortable with trading. Huh. So you're saying, yeah, give me a minute. I'll show you. I can show you how to use the Fibonacci. So you have a bot taking your trades on options? Huh, interesting. All right. All right, let me use the trading view charts. It's a little easier to see. So basically what you want to do is you want to pull lower from highs to lows. I put it over here because you can see the highs and lows where they're at. It kind of does away with all the garbage in the middle. So let's just say that you were coming to this leg here. You would pull fib from the lower high down to the higher low, and then you would look for a 70 to 80% pullback for the short. As long as it does not break your previous high, the short is still valid. But since we're just kind of making lower highs, you wouldn't be getting big runners. So you'd be looking for like smaller trades, like 5 to 15 points, 20 max. So like this next setup here, if we pull our fib on this low, so we got a new low, we got a lower high. So if this leg is still going to stay valid, you really don't want it back up in this action here. So you would, maybe these wicks right here will hold up. You get a 60 to 50% pullback, then we will continue down maybe. So that's how I usually enter my funded trades in the morning time. So this was the trade from this morning. This was our funded trade from this morning. Some reason why do I have that? That don't look right. Somehow I got 3 contracts on there. I don't know what that is. 25,706. Let me take that off. I have no idea what that is. All right, there's our low. Kind of put the little dot on it. Then you drag. This is how this morning works out. This was the high. It wasn't as clean as you would like it, but it still worked. So basically, got a low. This candle up here kind of closed, made a new high. This next candle pulled back into my 15-minute range, and this is where we took our entry this morning. Or if you wanted to wait, you really could have just waited for this whole new leg to pull back down here. So you would have played the whole leg. So this would have been your low. That would have been your high. And you would have waited for the 70 to 80% pullback. And this is for the people who trade like what they call the golden pocket. This would be considered your golden pocket right here between the 60 and the 70. And then they would look for longs out of this. I mean, you know, this is all hindsight because you're looking for it after it happens. When you're in the moment, it's a little bit more like nervousing because, you know, you don't know if it's going to work out. So if you took the long, say at the 60%, a lot of times what I do is I don't put resting orders. Most of the times I will come in from the backside. So I would have an order, say, sitting at the 50% or the 60% as it's pushing down into the 70% because I'm waiting for the push back up. But your stop loss would have to be at the previous low because as long as this doesn't get ran, it's still a valid trade. So may get stopped out here. You trade both. So this will still see valid here because this is probably looks about the 60% pullback. And if we can start pushing back down here, like I said, we're just going to take one loss on this account. Then we'll switch to our other trading account because we don't want to take more than multiple losses. So if we take our loss, we'll just move on to our next account. And this way it keeps us from over trading our account. What's up, Fish Lips? Thanks for sharing the information, Outer. I guess I kind of got away from the chat there for a minute. Come on, let's get a knife fall here. Let's get a little 800 retest. Fish Lips, how have you been doing with the New Year? Is that setup still working with the Did not get a 10 points on the eval. Whew. Oh, shoot. Over 200 boy. Yeah, today was probably one of my better funded days that I've had in I don't know how long. So. But over 200 points, man. That's freaking awesome. Holy crap, man. And this is all from the whole number, Fish Lips? One of these days, we're going to get the courage to trade those whole numbers. You just pushed 2 to 5 micros. Yeah. You would have to, if you're doing eval, it's definitely recommended. Now, this is not going to be a good sign here if this thing just pulls back and gets stopped here, because that means that we're making a lower high to probably move back up. So you really don't want to see it close here. I feel like I almost just need to take my little couple points loss, because I think we're in this for like less than 10 points if we just can't start pushing. This is probably the only hard part about trading the Tokyo session. Man, you got to sit through these trades for freaking ever. Like you could be in here in this trade for like till London session and not move. Oof. It seems like some nights Tokyo's just booking it. Then some nights, man, we're just the whole consolidation, manipulation, breakout thing is really for real for anybody that follows that that part of the how the sessions are supposed to work. So I don't, you've probably seen it on TikTok, you've seen it on YouTube where they talk about Tokyo is your consolidation, pretty much consolidating for literally from 5 in the evening till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning before London opens. Then London, you'll get the manipulation either up or down. And then when the New York session comes, if you did get that price action, you will get the big, nice move in the New York session. That's why sometimes whenever you see big move in the Asia market, the New York session sucks. Not always, but sometimes that's the way it is. If there's a lot of movement in your Asia market. Goodness. Half levels worked well. Oh, there wasn't a lot of resistance on some of the whole numbers today. I feel like we're in the same situation last night where we got kind of stuck in a trade and we're just kind of sitting here waiting to just get stopped out. Kind of have that same feeling tonight. That's the thing about Asia market. Most of the time it'll move in one direction, and if you pick the wrong direction, you're just crap out of luck. I was really all in on the move up, but that didn't happen tonight because I was hoping that we would break back above the 37, 38s, find resistance, then look for the long. You still may get that setup, but it probably won't happen until probably moving into the London session before you move to the upside. See, this right here could just be 60% of the leg for us to move back up. So if you pull fib on this right here, so since this didn't make a new low, this new leg, this thing could, like I said, this could be its own little leg here. So this could be another basically higher low for us to start moving back up. Hoping not, but that's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, I usually pull a fib on mostly all my candles or the overall leg. A lot of times for most of my entries, I always usually pull the fib, like at least on the 5 minute candles. Then if it's an overall trade, use the overall leg. Do you also use the Fibonacci? Say, come on, fish lips, let's get that 800 bounce. What are you saying about the larger time frames? Yeah, discount or premium. Or a lot of times I would just say, like, I know it's discount or premium, but a lot of times I would just be talking in the percentage base because that's most of the time what I'm looking at is the percentage. Yeah, so for anybody that's new to Fib, if you want to use that the term what he was saying about like uh in premium or discount, so if you pull the leg, this would be above your 60, 70 and 80 would be like your discount price. Or no, wait, that would be your premium price. So you wouldn't want to be going long up here in the premium area. Up here is where you want to be looking for shorts. I guess it depends on how you use it. Everybody does it a little different, I'm assuming. I don't really know. Yeah, it's very slow tonight. It was like that last night also, Fish Lips. Like last night, I started trading at 5 o'clock, and we were stuck like in a 40 point range, probably for 2 hours before the Tokyo had opened. And we finally got a little movement during the Tokyo. Ah, come on. All right, so we're still pretty far up on this overall whole move. So this is why we're looking hopefully for a move back down into the 700s here. This is the NQ or MNQ. These are micro Nasdaq. So if you go to your charts and if you want to see them, it's under MNQH6. I don't usually ever do any like scalping. I mean, I guess if you want to call it 10 to 20 point scalping, yeah. It most of the time, since I'm trading so small, we're looking for the bigger overall move if we can get it, like 30, 40, 50 points on a smaller scale. Yeah, we've been trading Asia probably for less than a month now consistently. And I'm still not that great on it. I mean, I'd imagine it'd take a while to get used to. I'm just not used to trading this slow price action. I'm so used to just trading the daytime where you actually get most of the time you get really great movement. But the Asia market, man, you got to be so patient and just wait and wait. Even the candles move different to me. It's just not the same. The Forex is a lot harder. Yeah, see, I've never done Forex at all. I've only really ever I traded ES very briefly, but pretty much Nasdaq is the only thing I've really ever traded. So I like that I can just look at one chart only, and try to get good at this one chart. Because anytime I ever try to go look at gold, silver, or any of that stuff, I'm just like, I feel lost. Like a lot of people are trading silver right now because silver has just been banging. Uh, Most of all my funded trades are usually taken in the first 15 minutes. That's kind of what we were talking about a while ago with the fib. So I can point out what I took this morning on my fundeds. So we copy traded 3 accounts this morning for our funded. You probably could have waited for this better pullback here to get it, but I'd like the pullback into the first 15 minutes. So it wasn't as clean this morning. So basically, we had our low, we had a little high. Like these are not even on full legs, because basically what I'm doing is I'm waiting for a wick back into this 15-minute candle from 8 o'clock to 8:15. It's your first 15-minute candle of the hour. And this happens over and over almost every single night, like every single day. I can go back and just point this out. It happens over and over every day. So basically, you're just looking for a push up out of that 15 minutes, and you're just looking for a quick pullback. And as long as this bottom of this low doesn't break, it's good to take. I think I got long here around the 30s or 40s this morning. And I think we only made $100, but we were copy trading 3 accounts. And we took all this live this morning, so I didn't take a trade Monday morning because I had to go somewhere. You still got to set up in the yesterday. All right. You got to set up Monday. It was a little bit more choppy, but this is it though. It's still because, you get a little bit more crazy price action in the morning time. So this would have been your low for that first, pullback before we open. This would have been the new high. Then you would wait for a pullback. So you pull back 86%, or you pull back into wherever, how you want to call it. I'd usually use percentages. Some people use discount and premium, but I just like to say what the percentages are. That's just how I like to refer to them as. And like this would be your 15-minute range in this area. So pull back into the 15 minutes and straight up. So, and that's what I usually look for on my funded accounts in the morning. And you will have your stop loss, so you know where your stop loss. See you later, Outer. Thanks for hanging out. Now, I don't really have a setup particular setup that we trade on evals. Evals are a little bit more aggressive, like, stuff that I picked up over the years. I'll try. But with fundeds, I try to be super strict with the fundeds and just trade one setup. And there's a few other little setups that you can take with the fundeds. Like if you like to trade the open day close, that's a nice funded setup. That has a very high win percentage. Yeah, I mean, you don't really have to use the Fibonacci. I just like using it because it kind of gives me an idea about the percentage at where we're kind of up and down as far as if you're in discount or premium. So that's how most people use the Fibonacci, like is either you don't want to buy in premium or, you want to buy all your trades in discount. So you want to wait for the pullbacks. You don't want to buy at the top of the leg. Okay. I usually use an indicator if I'm going to take it. It's on my Ninja charts. I'm not sure if I know who that is, Bay. You said Sender Strategy, SNDR. No, see, I'm not familiar with that one. Oh, I don't care what people say. My feelings don't get hurt there, my guy. Yeah, it's very small range tonight, fish lips. Well, I never told anybody I was a teacher, and I've already told plenty of people that I'm not here to teach you how to trade. You're just here watching my journey. You're more than welcome to go somewhere else and watch somebody else's journey, or if someone else is teaching to trade. I've never once said I'm here to teach you to trade. I just show you what I do. You can say, oh, I like that, or I don't like it. Yeah, it takes a while. I mean, not really takes a while to find a strategy. I think it just takes a while to find something that works for yourself. Hmm. I definitely don't trade like a kid, huh? Well, that's good. Thanks for sharing. Push back up into that trend line there. Man, we're still in this really tight range. You think trading stopping my progress over trading? Yeah, I hate whenever I've had a bad habit of doing that sometimes too, where I've over traded. Usually it's later in the morning though, is usually where I've had that habit, like leading into the lunch hour. No, see, I don't ever do like the quick $1,000 in profit because I try not to over leverage my accounts. Yeah, most of the time on my accounts, I'm using like 2 to 3 micros. So with these accounts that you see me trading now, they're just 2 micros. whew. If you're using a large account, it's probably fine. But see, most of my accounts are like the 25 and 50. And really, they're not even 25 and 50. Yeah, see, I always use a stop loss too. I try to have like a mental, like how much I'm willing to lose per day or at least per account. But I mean, that's everybody's journey. I mean, you just have to just figure out what's going to work for you at the end of the day, because almost everybody here is going to trade differently. No one's going to be trading the same. It's really even hard to watch somebody trade online and do what they're doing. Most of the time it's just tough to, especially if someone's taking like breakout trades. It's a little bit easier if they're doing support and resistance, or if it's like a particular type setup where you're trading back into a fair value gap or something like that. But I've heard of a lot of people doing the whole no stop loss. Following the trend usually makes you the most money. So what do you follow, like the 9 or 21 EMA? Oh, when you were saying you follow the trend, I didn't know if you meant like trend line breakouts or do you follow like a EMA? So like this blue line on here is the 21 EMA. I didn't know if you follow like a EMA type strategy. Guys, we have had a very, very small range tonight. So we're pretty much kind of stuck into a 35-point range. This has been our range for the night. So super, super small. So we haven't really had any breakout trading. So it could just be one of those things where we just consolidate all night leading into the London session. Yeah, we're probably not going to take this a second time. Oh, you're making channels. I get what you're saying now. So like a channel trend. Okay. All right. So now I understand what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this one guy that I've come across online that I think that's what he trades. I want to say it was an Asia guy I watched one time that was doing this where he was basically buying at the bottom of the like it's almost like a range trade type strategy where you're buying at the bottom of the range and taking it to the top of the range, then back to the bottom of the range, then to the top of the range, then back to the bottom of the range. So that type of strategy. Usually, like I said, with my fundeds, I only trade one strategy. The evals is where I may like do different entry points with the evals, but with my funded, it's one only. Guys, we may just not end up getting this down because we already got stopped out. So, and we're not going to jump back in. There's just not a lot of movement tonight. Oh, so you got short at the 825 fish lips? Then I use fair value gaps, session high, session low. The only time I've really ever used the fair value gaps Bay is whenever we what is it? Like the inversion. Have you ever done the inversion type plays? Like it's failed fair value gaps. Basically where you make a high, you make a low. Okay. See, I've done those a little bit in the past. It's been a while since I've done them, but that's probably about the only thing I like with the fair value gaps is the failed fair value gaps. It looks like we're probably going to get that 803. Thank you guys for the likes and follows tonight. It's been a very uneventful night, guys. The movement has been horrible tonight. Let's see. I can show the trade that we took live this morning if you want to see what we took this morning. Let's see. From let's see if we can bring it over. Find it here. Man, it got left quick. Did we already? No. No, it hasn't happened yet. So this is where we're waiting. So trying to pull it over so you don't see the whole thing. So kind of like not overlook this right here because I had marked out the hourly candle. So usually on my Ninja charts, I'll have the 15-minute range marked out. And this is the 15 minutes marked out from 8 o'clock to 8:15. I'm trying to tell, did we already pull back? It's so hard to see on these smaller charts. Like, no. I don't think we have. Okay, so I think it was this candle here. Since we're not really doing nothing but chopping along here. All right, so you got like I said, you have a low, you got a high, and you're just waiting for the pullback into your 15-minute range. And you don't, like I said, you don't get this trade every single day. Most of the setups you don't. You know, you're lucky to get 3 good setups a week. I'm trying to fast forward this a little bit so we can get down there. All right. All right, so we made it back to our zone. So here's our zone. You can see this candle that's pushing back into our zone. It pulled back into discount, or 76%, whatever how you want to call it. If you feel like being correct with the saying. And so then I just had my order sitting at the 50%. I'd have much rather had the 60%, but instead I just did the 50%. So this would have been my live trade this morning. I want to say this thing ended up going up like 160 points. Yeah, I ended up doing the 50%. To me, that's not the greatest entry. It's kind of in that middle. I'd have much rather had an entry down there closer to the 60%, but it rejected so fast that I didn't have time to get my order down. I always usually prefer to always just come a little bit on the lower end, but I think what it did, it ran 50% of this 15-minute candle. And another thing about the time we took this was like a few minutes before the news play this morning. So this is why we were trying to get to break even fast, because we didn't want to be on the wrong side of the news. Because we had news at 9:45 this morning. And this is me copy trading 3 funded accounts. And like I said, this was from this morning. And so I probably could have took more, but like I said, it was because of the news play that was about to happen that I just didn't want to be on the wrong side of news. That's what you were trying today is called the SNDR. Oh, I don't guess I've ever heard that, the SDR thing that you're talking about. That's new to me. See, I thought that was the only pullback we were going to get. So basically, I took my stop loss to the bottom of this wick and it came back and got me. So we ended up missing out on a lot of points here. Yeah, so it got me there. Then it ended up just really just rocket shipping to the moon. I have no idea what it's going to do here in the Asian market. It could just chop sideways all night leading up into the London session. So there's a 4-hour fair value gap down there. That's where I was actually trying to target whenever I was in this short down here. Yeah. That's where we wanted to target, near these lows from this leg. But I'm pretty sure we're not going to get a trade tonight. We're probably going to walk away in about 5 minutes. Because right now, like I said, we're pretty much stuck in a 30 or 35 point range. So what, 45 down to 110. So looking at 35 points overall tonight. Yeah, we do live in the New York session. I've just recently started doing the Tokyo session. I'm not going to lie. I struggle in the Tokyo session. I mean, I've only been really doing this for the Tokyo session probably about a total of 4 weeks. Like consistently 4 weeks. And I'm just not that used to the movement. It just takes a lot of patience to trade this time of the night. Every now and then you'll get some good movement in the Tokyo session, but man, 50-50 of the time it's like this. So you're just kind of just sitting here just watching paint dry. Tokyo is one of those markets where you just put your trade on and walk away, I feel like. Instead of just sitting here watching. Yeah, just kind of take what I do, then add it to what you do, and hopefully eventually you can find what works for you, Bay. I mean, that's pretty much what I do, is just watch different people and see how they trade, or whoever you think kind of fits your trading style. I usually keep my stuff fairly simple. I try not to be like super technical, which, none of us are, at least I'm not a, professional trader. So I don't do this for a living. At least not yet. Maybe one day if I like to get to that point. Thank you guys for the follow. So this is why I'd never recommend over leveraging in the at least I never over leverage in the Tokyo session, is because if you get dug yourself in a deep hole, it's almost impossible to get out. So I think usually I try to limit to myself $80 max loss in the Asia market. So if I lose more than $80, I just put the account away. So like tonight we were $60 in the hole, or 48. I think it's because we had some profit, so that we ended up $48 in the negative. Overall, we're still up 450 in this account. And this other account, we're up 868. And we didn't take a trade on this. This was the one I was going to trade next if the market started moving, but I just don't see it start moving. So I'm just going to kind of just sit off to the sideline. There's no use trading if there's no setup, and I don't feel like hopping back in this and just sitting here watching this grind. Fish Lips, did you get out of your trade completely, or are you still holding to the 800s? Man, this thing's probably going to end up hitting that. What? When did we enter that last trade? We're playing that thing since what? 7 o'clock? A little after 7. It took an hour and a half to go 10 points. Whew. Insane. All right. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Good luck the rest of the evening if you guys are going to continue trading. And we'll be back in the morning around 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock Central Time. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Fish Lips. Thank you. Not sure if a lot of you guys are still in here. Watch now that I'm going to get off. It's going to start moving. Nice. We just hit that 800. All right, guys. We'll see you in the morning. Thank you, guys.